come through the front door and I kind of peek over first because I don't know if we're being robbed or if there's an intruder in there because it did not seem like a normal scenario, right? So I walk in, it's pitch black, and I'm kind of looking around, and my eyes are still kind of adjusting because I had lights on in my car. And I look over in the corner, I don't see nobody down the hallway. And then I take a couple steps in, and at this point, I'm scared to death because I'm just scared of the dark in general at that time. And so I walk maybe two, three steps in, and I hear a beer bottle slammed onto the table. And so it freaked me out. I ran, turned on the lights real quick, and I saw my freaking dad sitting there with a beer bottle. And he's just sitting there drinking and kind of like giggling to himself a little. And so I'm like, what the fuck, man? Are you okay? Like, what's going on with you? Are you okay? Did we get robbed or something? And at first he's like, yeah, someone ran into the restaurant. They tried to rob me. And, he came up with this elaborate story, right? And so I'm freaked out. And then he starts laughing and he points over to one of the booths that we had. And on the booth was one of his guns. It was like a 45 or something like that. It's a big gun. And he points over there and he's like, hey, can you grab me my gun? And so I walk over to the booth, I grab his gun, and it's still hot, right? And I'm like, what the hell's going on here? And so he starts pointing at the walls, and I look over at the walls, and there's just gun holes, like gunshots, big old holes on the wall to our neighboring business. Like there's an optometrist next door to us, right? And so he shot probably like 14 to 15 rounds onto this wall. And then I panicked and I started looking around to see if there's any blood or anything. And I was like, so did you get the guy or what happened? And he's like, no, he ran off. Right when I started shooting at him, he started running away. So it was all good. And the shitty part about St. Louis, where we lived at, is that the cops never came. Like, you imagine letting off 15 or 16 shots. You would think the cops would come very quickly, but no one came. No one thought anything was out of the norm. And so I was like, fuck it, I'm going to take him home. So I take him home. Long story short, the next morning we get back to work and I'm up there opening the restaurant with him. And when I get there, there's cop cars, there's women from the optometry business next door outside, and everyone's just like super concerned and angry at the same time. And so I walk up and I said, hey, Mary, what's going on? And she goes, your fucking dad took a gun and shot into our business last night, and he broke everything that we have, like all the eyeglasses that we have, the machines, they were all shot up. And then I look over at my freaking dad, and he's sitting there giggling, right? And so I came back over there, and I told my mom what he told me, and then she started getting so angry, and she's like, no, he's freaking lying to you. He got drunk last night, and he got pissed off, and he was sad about losing the business, so he took the gun and he shot, into the wall. And so I remember thinking how crazy my dad was and how stupid he was. And the effects of alcohol makes you do things that's just really stupid. Like if you're already depressed, it amplifies that. If you're angry, it amplifies that. And if you're a dumbass, it makes you even more of a dumbass.